Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to another episode of the Lux Planet, the podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. Now, this is something that I I think it will touch a lot of people. Okay, if you're one of them, then that's great. I think there's a lot of people that need to hear this. Okay, now when I say this, I'm saying it from the heart. Okay, I know we all are different. I know we all live different lives. I know we have different experiences and different ways of thinking, and that's beautiful. But there comes a time that we need to say no. We need to say stop. We need to say, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. And we need to see ourselves as something amazing, something beautiful, something extremely valuable. Okay? What I'm talking about is for people to stop pleasing other people. I don't think I can be any clearer than this. Some people need to stop pleasing other people. Now, I can understand that a lot of us might have jobs where where you have to please people. Like if you're an assistant, if you've got a boss, okay, someone over you, right? And I can understand in those cases you might need to be on a constant pleasing status. I can understand that. I've been in that position. I've been there where my job consisted of on pleasing my boss, my bosses. And it's difficult sometimes to go, I have to stop pleasing them so I can do something that makes me more comfortable, or I need to stop pleasing them because I don't like to please people, but I've got a job where I have to do just that. So I can understand it might not be that easy to stop pleasing other people. Okay? But some people will see that as a way to get things. Again, it might not necessarily be something bad to do these things only to get something out of. Okay, I can understand that. But in a way, isn't that any job? Isn't it like that? So if you've got a boss, then you need to do your tasks, what you're supposed to be doing at work. Your service needs to be very good, so they can be pleased. And if they are pleased, then I assume you get to keep the job, right? And you get paid for it. So I can understand that coming from that perspective. But there are times when you need to say no to that. Where you need to go like, okay, I don't want to please other people just because they expect me to please them, just because they expect me to do things so they can be pleased, even if I'm not pleased. Because that's not a good balance. Imagine you're doing something, or you've got a job where you're actually doing things very well done. Your superiors, whoever they might be pleased with your work, but you yourself are not pleased with your work or with the job in general. And so you become unhappy. That happened to me, where my boss or my bosses, they seemed to be happy with what I was doing, but I wasn't happy doing that anymore. I was like, so what happens now? Shall I just keep doing this to please you? Or shall I do something? Shall I stop it? And therefore I will stop pleasing you and will start pleasing myself. I'll make myself happy rather than you. And so I had to make a decision, and I made a decision. And it turns out it was the right decision. It was absolutely the right decision. And I was like, okay, so I need to do this every time there's a need for me to do this, to please myself and not other people. So, and you know, there's other examples. I don't know, maybe you were like in a relationship and you're always the one that makes an effort to please the other person, right? Well, okay, maybe you need to stop doing that. I know it depends on the case. It depends on people, because like obviously everyone is different. Everyone has got different ways of thinking. They might have their own reasons to not do that, not stop pleasing other people. So it's not really a black and white in some situations, but I think it's still important that we don't keep doing that every time. Unless it's yourself. You really need to please yourself. That is the thing. That is the key thing. Because like once you please yourself, you are in this state where it doesn't matter what is going on around you, or even in your life. You think like, okay, things are a bit shaky, but at least I'm doing this to please myself, in order to keep my life in order, or because I want something different in my life, something better in my life. Okay, and you do that. It's very important to keep yourself really high. Don't ever allow anyone else to put you in a very low position. Okay, even when you're working for someone, that doesn't mean that the other person is better than you or is more than you. Okay, obviously when it comes to jobs, to work, there's people that have to be above you, especially if you're working for other people. There's people who are working above you. They're more seniors than you. But then when you become a boss and you're employing people, then the roles have shifted, right? Then you know there's these employees that have to please you. They have to do a good job so you can keep them, right? Because otherwise you're going to say like, you're going to have to go. I'm not pleased with your work. I'm going to have to let you go, right? So it goes both ways, obviously. And you need to understand that there's a need for that structure, especially in the working world. There's a need for that structure, but you also need to make sure that you don't how shall I put this? That you don't let yourself be dragged down by the constant need to please your superiors or whoever is above you. Okay? And in life as well, you don't always have to say yes to whether it is your partner, your friend, your family member, your work colleague. You don't have to. I've met people like that they kept saying yes, and to some of them, like there were times that things wouldn't go their way, even if they said yes, and I'll be like, yeah, you should have said no. Oh yeah, but I thought they needed, but yeah, but you didn't have to say yes. You could have disagreed. You could have said no. You could have stopped it in a way. It's like you could have. You just chose not to because you thought that by saying yes would be good for you and for them, and it wasn't. So you don't always. I think if something doesn't make sense to you by saying yes or by agreeing to something, then don't. Even if that puts you in a difficult position or situation with other people. Okay? But if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense to you. That's it. If you don't think that is right, it's not right then. To you, it's not right. Okay, that's it. Sometimes doing something for the benefit of everyone, sometimes you agreeing with that, it's not good. And we can see this example of what's been happening for the last 2-3 years. You might think like, okay, was it worth it? Yeah, there you go. So that's only a part of like pleasing other people. Oh, you need to do this so we can be like in this state. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And then it turns out it didn't quite work out like that. And then you might think like, oh, actually at the time I didn't want to do it, but like maybe peer pressure, or maybe, yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done. Okay, so you don't always have to please other people. It's not the right way to live, to constantly please other people. Okay, we live in a world where everyone has got an opinion, where everyone can bring something to the table, where everyone can contribute to make it a better society, a better community, a better place of work. a better family environment. Okay, so we all have things that we can contribute to, and I think everyone wants to contribute something. I'm pretty sure that everyone wants to, in their own ways, obviously, because we're all different, but everyone wants to contribute with something. And saying yes or agreeing to everything, wanting to please everyone or a certain person the whole time or most of the time, sometimes it's not the right way. Sometimes we need to go, I don't like this. I'm not doing it. I don't agree with that. Here's why. Here's my point of view. That's it. Obviously, without being and acting like a D-head, right? An a-hole, right? So we don't have to be rude. You don't have to be rude when you're saying these things, when you no longer want to please them. You don't even have to say that. You can just put it in a way that they can understand and they can value your opinion, your point of view, and go like, okay, I respect you. That's fine. It's okay. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, just if you're one of these people that has been pleasing other people for a long time, because you thought like that was the way to do things, that was the way to go anywhere in life, just think that it's not the way. You might, like I said in the beginning, you might be in a position that you have to do it, like in certain jobs, for example, you might have to do it, but that doesn't need to apply in all instances of life, even your life. It doesn't have to. Okay, so and even at work, maybe sometimes you don't need to please them, at least not in a way that you think it should be done. Maybe by getting to it from a different approach, it might get you to a similar result. And maybe your superiors or whoever is above you or whoever you reply to, right, so to speak. And we've got the bell going. Just give me a second. And here we are. This is what you get when you're recording in the middle of the day, and you get the postman to deliver you a package. Hey, you can't make things up. You can't make this up. Anyway, so I think we're just gonna wrap it here. Yeah, please stop pleasing other people when you see that there's no need for it. I think there's a time and a place. I think there's certain situations where the pleasing other people is beneficial to the other person, to the other people, and you, but it certainly does not apply for every situation, even at work. I don't think. Sometimes you have to let them see your way. Sometimes you have to make them see that your point of view is actually a valuable thing. Excuse me. Just gonna have a sip of water. Where your point of view is actually a very good thing. Sometimes it might be better, right? So yeah, just think about that. Thank you very much for taking your time to be here with me on this amazing episode of Lux Planet podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Daniel, and I'll give you a kiss on your heart and a big hug on your soul. Take care. See you next time. Bye.